How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Gundam card game video here on Red Zone Rogue. Oh, today is really exciting because we are going over our first batch of Gundam card game Set 3 Steel Requiem decks. We have 8 new brews to talk about today. Some are brand new archetypes like CB, and some are returning archetypes like Zeon, and the much requested update for my Aerial and Epyon deck. That'll be the last deck we cover today, but yes, we'll talk about the updates to that deck and like I said, 7 other decks. Now, there's a couple quick caveats that I want to have before we get into this. These are very flavorful decks. I have been playtesting them, but they are not like the most 100% optimal and tuned. These are kind of like my first or maybe second or third takes on the decks, depending on how much I've been playing with each individual deck. And like I said, these are going for flavorful takes. These aren't decks where I just threw Amuro Ray and Kira Yamato into everything. In fact, none of these decks have Kira or Amuro in them at all. In fact, most of these decks don't even have white, with a couple exceptions. So yeah, if you want to check out some new interesting stuff, hey, this is going to be a video for you. And in future videos, we'll talk about more, Amuro and Kira stuff, because I'm sure they're going to show up on a lot of decks. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hear a word from today's sponsor, and then we'll get started. Let's do it. Yo, and today's sponsor is none other than me. I am sponsoring my own video. If you'd like to get some excellent trading card game accessories and merch, go ahead and check out redzonerogue.com. We have sleeves, we have playmats, we have enamel pins, all done by TCG industry artists. None of it is, AI or anything like that. I'm a big proponent of supporting artists, and especially ones who work in the trading card game industry, and it's an absolute honor to work with them. And since you're watching a video about the Gundam card game, you might be interested in our Mech Pilot series. So we can go here and click on Project Red Zone Mecha, and here we have our Mech series. Though all of our sleeves have sold out, we still have some playmats in stock, including our newest Vaya Fleet Commander. We also have, I'm gonna show all of them. We have Codename Villain, and then we also have our first one, Katsumi Mech Pilot. These are all done by industry artist Pinakas, who's done art for, various mecha things, model kits, the Grand Archive trading card game, Arc Knights, Azure Lane, a lot of stuff. It's a great honor to work with him, and he's a great dude. So if you'd like to support me and all this kind of good stuff, maybe get some excellent merch, check out redzonerogue.com. Thank you so much. Let's go into the deck techs. All right, and so the first deck we're going to talk about is what I'm calling the Big Psycho. This is a Big O, or just the O deck, supplemented with the Psycho Gundam, one of my favorite units in the entire game. One of my favorite just mobile suits in Gundam from the series, from, one of my favorite series, Zeta Gundam. This is a mono blue deck that is heavily featured, I should say heavily features the Jupiterus trait as well as Titans, and every mobile suit in the deck is either Jupiterus or Titans, and most of the time, both of them. This is kind of interesting, mid-rangey, aggressive, grindy style deck. There's a lot of words, but we're fairly aggressive with a couple low-to-the-ground units. We have decent mid-range, and then a pretty strong top end with a lot of stuff that has repair and just cards that can incidentally heal themselves, which is a great way to, maintain longevity throughout the game, as well as cards that just give us card advantage with stuff like For Murasame. I really wanted to do a deck that incorporates both For Murasame and Psycho Gundam with the O and Jupiterus, and I kind of like where this one is right now. So let's go ahead and start by talking about the Hyzak. I really like this one in the deck because a lot of the times it'll be a level 2 cost 3/2 with repair, and we really care about having units with repair with the O's effect. So keep that in mind as we talk about all of these units. The O will make it so that when any of our units with repair attacks, we can choose an enemy unit with level equal to or lower than the unit that attacked, and then we get to rest the enemy unit, which is really, really solid. So we care a lot about, units with repair. So having this kind of like low to the ground repair unit is pretty solid for the deck, and most of the time it'll be a 3/2, just as long as we have another Jupiterus unit in play. So it's a pretty solid card, and it's Titans Jupiterus itself. We're also just running the simple Hyzak. This is the level 2 1 cost 2/2 version of the Hyzak. Don't get it twisted. We're running 2 different Hyzaks. Yeah, pretty simple, just kind of like grunt unit that yeah, can help us with the early aggression. We're also running the Masala Mobile Armor mode, a level 3 2 cost 3/2, good stat line. It can link with any of our Jupiterus pilots, and I want to mention now we're running a good amount of pilots. Technically, we're running only 10, but we also have the pilot command in Moore's Determination and Moore Pharaoh. So we have a ton of link potential in this deck. So yeah, this is really solid. 3/2 with repair that also has a relevant link with all of our pilots with the exception of 4 Murasame. We're also running the Marasai. This is a level 3 2 cost 3/3 Titans, and it links with any Titans trait, and that is every single one of our pilots. They all are Titans. So this has a ton of link potential with the deck. You know, really, really solid. We're also running the Bolonok Samahan, level 4 2 cost 3/3, links with any Jupiterus. Once again, tons and tons of link potential. I just want to note that 4 and more, they are not Jupiterus, they're just Titans. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So this one still has a lot of link potential with Sirocco and Sarah, but not with some of the other cards. Still really, really solid, and during pair, this will gain Repair 2. Once again, great for the O. We're also running the Masala, great card in the deck, level 6, 4 cost 5/4, with Blocker, Repair 1, and links with any Jupiterus trait. Excellent. And then, of course, the Psycho Gundam itself. This one really only works with 4, but kind of not really. It synergizes with most of the rest of our deck. This is a level 6, 4 cost 4/5 with Breach 3. Pretty good at, you know, breaching into our opponent's base or destroying their shields. And then it says, during pair with a Cyber New type pilot, which is, it's just going to be 4. When one of our Titans units destroys an enemy shield area card with damage, this unit recovers 2 HP, which is fantastic. We can link this up with a 4 Murasame. This will be a 6/6, and we can even take, you know, 5 points of damage here, going down to 1 HP. And as long as we can, you know, trigger some destruction with our Titan stuff, we can actually heal the Psycho Gundam back up, and then also at least draw a card with 4. And this works really, really well with the deck because literally everything in the deck is a Titans unit. So yeah, this is pretty sweet. I do like this in the deck. And then finally for the units, we have the O, level 7, 5 cost 5/5, Titans Jupiterus, links with Sirocco. This has Repair 3, and then during pair with, when one of our other units with Repair attacks, choose one enemy unit whose level is equal to or lower than that unit, and then rest it. Once again, we want dudes with Repair, and we want them to attack. We also want them to have fairly high level, which is why something like the Masala and the Bolonok are fairly solid in the deck. We can also use Sirocco's ability to give something like the Psycho Gundam Repair. And so we can make it so that we can rest, you know, level 6 stuff as well. So let's go over the pilots. We'll go over Sirocco just because I mentioned him. This guy is absolutely nuts. He's a level 5 1 cost 2/2. When linked, choose one of our other units and it gets Repair 2 during this turn. Then if it's a Jupiterus unit, draw 1 card. So if we give the Psycho Gundam that ability, we don't get to draw the card, but we do get to draw that from most of the other units. We have 1, 2. I mean, I think literally almost. Well, I guess not all of them. There's the Hyzak, the Marasai, and the Cycle that aren't, but most of the other ones are Jupiterus. So we can get that card draw most of the time with this. And also, one thing to note, Repair does stack. So if we give the Repair 2 to the Masala that already has Repair 1, this will heal for 3 at the end of our turn, which is really, really solid. So Sirocco just is fantastic. We're also running Sarah Zabariov. She's a pretty solid all-arounder in the deck. Level 3 1 cost 1/1 pilot. She's a Titans, Jupiterus, and new type. And when we link, we choose an enemy unit that is level 3 or lower and rest it. Great little rest effect. And she has links with basically almost anything in the deck because she's Titans, Jupiterus, and new type. Really, really solid. As we can see, so she's a Titans, Jupiterus, new type. What would she link with? Well, we have 4 here. Well, 4 cards. I shouldn't say 4 because we have a character named 4, but we have 4, 8, 12, another 4, so it's 16. So he links with 16 of our units. Pretty good. We're also running, like I mentioned, 4 Murasame, level 5, 1 cost, 2/1 pilot during link and once per turn during our turn. When this unit recovers HP, if we have 4 or less cards in our hand, draw 1 card, which is pretty solid. Yeah, obviously we can heal with the Psycho Gundam, but there's like other cases where like she can technically link with the Marasai because it's just a Titan's link. And so if she links with the Marasai and we give it repair 2 with Sirocco, then we can still draw the card, which is pretty cool from For's effect. We're also running Mora's Determination. I think this card is really, really sweet. It's a level 2 1 cost pump, basically, that also doubles as a pilot. It has a main action effect for the command side. You choose a friendly Titans unit. Once again, every unit is Titans, so just choose one of our dudes, and it gets +2 AP during the turn. Since you can do this on action, this is a nice little combat trick. If our opponent is trying to attack into one of our things, we can just give it +2 so we can get a nice favorable trade. If not, we can just use this as a +10 pilot. It does actually link with a Marasai, so late game, if push comes to shove and you just need that one extra little bit of damage and attack, you can drop the Marasai, link it up with Moir, and smash in for victory. Yeah, actually really solid. And then we also have Privileged Position. So this is something that I'm testing out. It's a really flashy and fun card. I'm not sure if it'll end up making the long-term cut, but I really like it right now. It's a level 6 2-cost command, so pretty high level. It has a great burst. You just got to draw a card. And then on action, you choose one of our Titans link units battling an enemy unit and set it as active. So this way we can actually get multiple attacks out of any of our big chungus like link units, which is actually pretty sweet. It's a way we can get multiple attacks off the Psycho Gundam. We can get multiple attacks off of something like the O. This is really, really good. You can't really get double attack face with this because, you know, it has to be battling an enemy unit, but you can do a thing where you smash in with the Psycho Gundam, you know, breach their thing, and then set it as active, and then smash in and breach their thing a second time. Pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, I like this quite a bit. And then finally we have our base. It's the Jupiterus, level 3 1 cost 0/5 base. Deploy, add shield to hand. Then if a friendly Jupiterus unit is in play, we can select an enemy unit that's level 3 or lower and rest it. Doesn't have to be on our turn, so if we get this off of a burst, that's fantastic. We can rest our opponent's thing, kind of slow down some aggression. We can also use this aggressively, rest their things on our turn so we can smash into them and get nice favorable trades because we have a lot of repair, so we can smash into their thing and get the repair. I like this deck a lot. I think there's going to be a lot of different versions of the Jupiter deck running around. I think you can splash white and you know, make it into a more like hard control deck with blockers and more white. I think that'll work really well. But in any case, I think it's pretty solid. Also, by the way, let me know if you like this website layout or if there are any other Gundam deck builder websites that you really like the layout of to use in a future video. I'm not sure. I'm using EX Burst right now, but yeah, let me know. All right, next up is one of my favorites. This is the return of Green Red Zeon. This one's kind of like an all-in Zeon, and I'm doing a couple little fun splashes with stuff like Lala soon. The big ad of this deck is Nyaan and her G-Fred G-Quux suite. That's kind of like the big thing of this deck, and we're playing with some of my favorite cards that didn't really see a lot of play in set 2. This is a very aggressive deck. We want to push a lot of damage. A lot of the damage will be high maneuver and unblockable due to Char, and we also have some big finishers that have suppression like the new G-Quux. We also have board clear with the new G-Fred, and just a lot of value with Nyaan. This deck is sweet and definitely one of my favorite ones to come out of the season here. So let's talk about it. So we have a bunch of low to the ground aggressive units like this Grunt Zaku 2, level 2 1 cost 2/2. Yeah, pretty solid low to the ground unit. We also have our I call this the EX base killer Zaku, level 2 1 cost 1/2, and if you're attacking, you get some additional +2. So great at smashing into EX bases. Really aggressive stuff here. We're also running the Rickdom, one of my favorites since the beta days. Level 3 2 cost 3/3 with just Breach 2. Once again, fairly solid aggressive unit, relevant stats, relevant effect. This card is really, really good. This is one that I've been playing around with the numbers on, going up to 4 and then down to 2. Currently at 2 right now, but I can see you cutting maybe some of these other, like the Gelgoogs, for example, and putting more Rickdoms in. But yeah, I kind of like where it is now, but I wouldn't fault you for going up to 4 on this one. Now we have the 2 Zaku 2s. We have the, they both have the same stats. They're both level 3 2 cost 3 2s. They both link with Char. This is the one when it's destroyed on pair, you get a 3/1 Zaku 2 token, which is pretty sweet. And this is the one when it's destroyed, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can reveal a Zeon or Neo Zeon card from among them and add it to your hand. We have a ton of Zeon cards in the deck, so this is a very, very high chance to hit on this one. Great card advantage for the deck. We're also running just the regular old Gelgoog. I'm not the biggest fan of this card, but I like it just because it has a generic Zeon link. Level 4 2 cost 4/3 Zeon link. All of our pilots are Zeon. All 10 of our pilots are Zeon, so we can get a nice link with them. And this is the only one that technically links with Lala, so there's that as well. We also have the Char's Gelgoog, level 4 4 cost 4/3, and then we can activate during main and discard a Zeon or Neo Zeon unit card. If a pilot is not paired with this unit, choose one new type pilot card that is level 3 or lower from our trash and pair it with this unit. Usually that's going to be Char, but hey, if we don't have a Char, we can actually pair up a Lala just to get that extra point if we actually really need it. It's a corner case. You don't want to do that too often, but if you really need that 5 to maybe blow up a base or something like that, and you have a useless maybe a little tutu in your hand or something, yeah, you can use that. We're also running the common G-Fred. This card is sick, dude. Level 4 2 cost 4/2, links with Nyaan. It's a Zeon, and then it has a burst effect, which is wild. They introduced a couple units with burst effects in set 3. This one says if there are 3 or less enemy shields, so we want to be aggressive, we deploy a rested 4/3 G-Fred. That's so good. We get a free 4/3 if our opponent has 3 or less shields. This card is extremely powerful. I like this one a lot. I compared that to this one right here, the Gelgoog, right? It's a 4/3 with a Zeon link, same cost and everything. This is also, it's a 4/2, so a little bit weaker. Also has a link, less generic, but it also has a really powerful effect. I like the G-Fred a lot. We're also running the big G-Fred. This is the LR G-Fred. Great card. Level 6 4 costs 4/5, links with Nyaan. We can activate once per turn. We can exile a pilot from our trash and deal 1 damage to all enemy units. So you should use your pilots fairly liberally. And just dealing 1 damage to all enemy units is fantastic. We also have the link effect during this turn. This unit may choose an active enemy unit with AP less than or equal to this unit as the attack target. Also really sweet. G-Fred is great at just destroying stuff. And then we have our mega top end, the G-Quux Omega Psychomu, level 8 7 cost 6/5. This is our big finisher because it deals double damage to shields, which is sweet, as suppression, which as of course it destroys 2 shield cards simultaneously, and then on deploy you just blast something for 3 damage. This card is so good. It also has a link with Nyaan as well. Now let's talk about the rest of our cards. It's pretty simple. We have Lala Soon. She's a level 3 1 cost Zeon new type pilot. Being both Zeon and new type is fairly relevant. Zeon, of course, relevant for Gelgoog, and new type relevant for Char's Gelgoog and Turning Point and History. So it just gives +1/+1, and then when you pair it, we get to choose one of our other Zeon link units, and we give it Breach 1, which is really solid. If we're doing some stuff with like G-Fred, smashing into stuff, getting that extra breach is really good. And then of course, Char is just nuts. Level 3 1 cost 1/1. When he attacks, he gets an additional +1. And then if it's a link unit, he also gets high maneuver. And so you want to jam him on our Zakus or maybe our Gelgoogs and, unblockable, kill our opponent. Next up, we have my favorite pilot from set 3. This is my new favorite pilot from set 3, but set 3 just came out. It's a level 4 1 cost 1/2. She's Zeon and new type. Once again, both really relevant. And then when you link, you place the top card of your deck into your trash. And if you placed a Zeon card or clan card with this effect, you choose an enemy unit and deal 1 damage to it. Really solid. This just has to be a Zeon or clan card. So that is any of our mobile suits, because the G-Quux is clan. and it's also any of our pilots as well. So we only have 8 cards that can whiff off of this, which is pretty solid. So there's a good chance we hit with it. And then linking up with any of these is going to be quite good. We're also running the Turning Point in History. This is a little bit of card advantage. Level 1, 1 cost main. Look at the top of your cards of your deck, and then return 1 to the top. Return the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck. Then if you have a new type pilot in play, draw a card. So this is just kind of like a, I don't know, you can think of this like a, sort of like a ponder kind of thing if you play Magic. It's not quite, but you look at the top 3, put 1 back, put the other on the bottom, and then draw a card if you have a new type. And hey, we have 10 new type pilots, so this works really well in the deck. Helps some of that late game, I don't want to say card advantage, but card selection is more like it, because we get to kind of pick the best of the 3 cards off the top of our deck, and you know, hopefully dumpster some low impact stuff and keep some of the high impact stuff. And then finally we have our base, which is the Fall Mill. Super simple card. It's just a base, and then when we deploy it, if it's not our turn, we get a 3/1 token, arrested 3/1 token, which also just helps with the aggression. Yeah, super sweet deck, super fun. Highly recommend you trying it out. And yeah, Zeon's back, boys. Next up, we have what I'm calling Croissant ZAFT. So this is my new take on ZAFT. We have a lot of, the ZAFT deck has changed quite a bit since we first did that deck tech video a while back. And this is kind of my, I'd say this is my second iteration of this version. I've tweaked some numbers here and there. I don't think it's perfect, but I'm gonna be messing with it. I might do like a full-fledged deck tech on this later in the future when I feel like it's much closer to what I would like. But I think it's pretty solid right now, and I think it's worth a shot. So ZAFT is an interesting deck. It really cares about units that have 5 or more AP, and then we get some sort of bonus. But now we have a really powerful pilot that can easily get our units up to 5 AP with his +2 AP, as well as his signature mobile suit, the Providence Gundam, which just pumps the whole team by 2, which is also excellent and also deals a lot of damage. So let's go ahead and talk about this deck. This is a red-white deck, and we're making good use of Athranzala and his cross-link potential. So first up, we have the GQ, level 2, 2 cost, 2/3. I'm running this over just the vanilla 2/2 just because, well, we don't have a lot of 2-drops in the deck, so it's not like we're going to want to double play and be super aggressive on turn 2 anyway. So just getting a 2/3 out there that can trade multiple times is really good. If our opponent is running a lot of the 2/2s, this is great. It can eat up 2 of their 2/2s. We're also running the Legao. This is a level 3, 2 cost, 2/3, and links with any ZAFT, which is great. We have a ton of link potential in this deck. On attack, if this unit has 5 or more AP and it's attacking an enemy unit, we get to choose a different enemy, or just choose any enemy unit and deal 2 damage to it, which is really sweet. Could be the unit we're actually attacking. Yeah, the Legao is fantastic, and we can actually get up to that 5 AP pretty easily with this deck now. We can do it with a combination of Rao and Vesalius. We can do it with just a single Jashindu. I think it's like Jashindu Due. Anyway, this big like space meteor base. Yeah, to give it an extra like +3. We also have another unit, the Gue's Commander type, which can also give it +3. So we have a decent amount of ways to actually give this +3 so we can get that effect off, which is pretty sweet. And once again, links with any of our pilots. We're also running the Dual Gundam. Pretty solid card, a level 3, 2 cost, 3/3, good stat line. It also has a link with any ZAFT, so all of our pilots, also good. And if it has 5 or more AP, it gets a Breach 3. So just a single Rao gets it up there, or maybe a Rao linked will get it up there. Rao linked with Providence Gundam will get it up there. There's a good chance we can get this up to the Breach 3, so really solid card here. We also have the brand new Gue's Commander type, level 4, 3 cost, 4/3, links with Rao Le Creuset. We have Activate Main, Support 1. Yeah, pretty good. But also, during our turn, when this unit is rested by an effect, you know, like its own support effect, choose one of our ZAFT units. It gains +2 AP during this turn. So this basically gives us +3 across 1 or 2 units. Really solid, great way to pump up our Legao. It doesn't say it has to be a different unit, it just says when this unit is rested. Well, it doesn't say both of the effects have to be different is what I'm getting at here. Support says you rest it, one other friendly unit gets AP specified by this until end of turn. So you activate its effect, you support 1, give something else +1. And then when you do that, when it's rested by its own effect, then you can choose one of another another ZAFT unit and get +2 AP. This is one of the reasons why we're also running almost all ZAFT, with a couple exceptions here, so we can actually pump up something like the GQ if we want to give them the AP. Yeah, but like I said, really solid for getting up to that 5 AP here. We're also running the Blitz Gundam. We are running 2 copies of this. This is one that I may bump up. It's a pretty solid card. It's a level 4/3, cost 3/3. Links with character we're not playing in the deck. On deploy, choose one of our ZAFT units with 5 or more AP, and it gains first strike during the turn. Really, really good, especially if we combine it somehow with a big drop with a Providence Gundam and make this thing massive, and we get a nice attack trigger, give it first strike, get a free trade off of their biggest thing. It's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid card. This is one I can see bumping up to 3 and then maybe bumping one of these other like level 4s down. Probably the Aegis, but this is a solid card. And once again, it's just on deploy. It's really good. We're also running the Aegis Gundam. This is level 4/3, cost 4/3, links with Atherin Zala. And on attack, if this has 5 or more AP, choose an enemy unit that is level 5 or higher and deal 3 damage to it. Excellent way to whittle down our opponent's big stuff. And there's infinitely easy ways to get this up to 5 or higher. Any of our pilots, any of our bases, the support. Like we can do a thing where we give this the +1 for the support, and then something like this the +2, so we can activate the 5 on this and the 5 on that. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. So yeah, I like this. I like this one quite a bit. And then we also have the Aegis Gundam Mobile Armor Mode. This is one I've bumped down to 3. It's just a 3/4 breach 3. It's solid, right? Similar to the Dual Gundam, but the big difference is, you know, 1 level, 1 cost, and 1 health. And this one, you just get the link. Though this one can link with Rao, which is also pretty good. So I think there's a little bit of contention between like these 2 cards. Like maybe we can bump up this one by 1, reduce this one. I don't know. Like I said, I think there's some tweaks that could be made with this deck to get the numbers right. But I think this is still pretty solid. And having the extra health will definitely help it stay alive during the turns where you want to attack into stuff and get that breach. But still pretty good. We also have the new Providence Gundam, amazing card in the deck. Level 7/5, cost 5/5, links with Raoul Le Creuset. During pair with a ZAFT pilot, on our turn, all of our ZAFT unit get the extra +2 AP, which is super, super good for powering up, you know, all of the things that care about that, which is most of the deck. And then also, when we attack, we choose an enemy unit, and we deal 1 damage to it for each 4 AP this unit has. So if this has 8, we'll blast something for 2, and if it has 12, we'll blast something for 3. Yeah, it's pretty solid, and we can get this up very, very high, which is why giving it first strike is really good, because, well, we can smash into their like wing 0 and just kill it and have the wing 0 deal no damage back, which is, yeah, once again, pretty good. I should also mention that the ZAFT pump, the board-wide ZAFT pump, affects itself too. So if we link this with Raoul Le Creuset, that's going to be a +4. 2 from Rao and then 2 from its own effect, which is solid. It brings it up to 9 already. And then the last 2 are our only white units. We have the Justice Gundam and the Justice Gundam. So this is the classic Justice Gundam, level 7/5, cost 5/5. On deploy, we get a nice little 2/2 blocker. And then during pair on attack, we choose one of our Triple Ship Alliance units, tokens, and that can attack the turn it is deployed. So basically, we can play this, we can link it up with Atherin Zala, because it has an Atherin link, and then we can attack with this 5/5, and then can attack with the 2/2. So this is kind of like a double attacker, which is a nice way to finish out the game. And then we also have the new Justice Gundam Meteor, super, super top end, level 8/7 drop, 6/6, links with Atherin. It's a Triple Ship Alliance. But when you link it, you choose 1 to 3 enemy units with 3 or less HP, and then return them all to owner's hands. So if your opponent's like, you know, Rick Diasing, zawarding it up, they have a bunch of, you know, blockers, you can just bounce them all back to the hand. While also bouncing tokens back to the hand just gets rid of them permanently. This is pretty solid. We're only running 2 because, man, this is a level 8 card, and it can just gum up your hand. But still, really good. All right, let's go over the pilots. We have Raoul Le Creuset. This card is so good in the deck. Level 4, 1 cost 2/1. When you link, you get to choose a ZAFT base in our trash and add it to your hand. So basically like drawing a card. And we're running 6 bases in the deck because these bases also double for our pump effects. So yeah, really, really good. And then also that +2 can't be understated how powerful that +2 is on some of these other cards. So yeah, very good. They're also running Athranzala, 1/2 pilot. When linked during this turn, this unit may choose an active enemy unit that's a level 5 or lower as the attack target. Really good for any of, our breaching type stuff. And obviously Athranzala links with our Justice Gundams and our Aegis Gundam. So yeah, also excellent. Running Overflowing Affection. Hey, it's a white deck. Nice little, hand smoothing and card draw into relevant stuff. Dump some of our less relevant stuff. And then our final 2 cards are our bases. They're both ZAFT bases, so we can get them back with Raoul Le Creuset. And then, they double as pumpers. So the Vesalius is the one that you can rest it and choose a friendly unit and give it +1 AP. Yeah, pretty solid. And then we have the brand new Jashin Due. This one's pretty sweet. We do the whole base thing, add a shield to hand, yada yada. Then we can choose one of our ZAFT units and give it +3 AP during the turn. And that +3 AP is perfect because it actually just insta-pumps the Legao, and then it, pumps up whatever else we need to the point. So, yeah, very good. The only downside, it's a level 6 card. Only costs 1, so it's a 1 cost 3 pump, but you have to be level 6 to get that off. But yeah, when this deck comes, it really works together. I like it a lot. Let me know what you've been doing with your ZAFT lists and how different they are. But I like where this one is right now. So yeah, let me know. Next up, we have an all purple deck. We have Vagan. In fact, this deck doesn't run a single LR. Most of the decks we featured so far have been pretty affordable to build. We can see here on the TCG player, stumbling over myself, $24 for this deck. The ZAFT deck, $61. I think it's because we're running some, running a lot more LRs than this one. The Zeon deck, $87. And the Psycho Gundam deck, $59. But yeah, the Vagan deck being $24 is like, is pretty low. This is an interesting deck. This is a very aggressive deck that has a lot of recursion. It's a pretty cool deck. And this is another one that I'll be tweaking quite a bit going forward. So this deck basically uses a lot of aggressive low to the ground units. We have a ton of level 2 units to either attack into our opponent or do as many efficient trades as possible, because we don't really care as much when these die, because we have ways to just get them back multiple times. We also have pretty efficient removal in the Zadra, Look of Determination, and Fatal Strike. So yeah, this is a low to the ground aggressive deck backed up by a lot of removal, backed up by recursion and graveyard synergy, and a little bit of high maneuver as well. So yeah, let's talk about it. So first up, we have the Gaffron, level 2, 1 cost 2/3, but it can't choose the enemy player as the attack target. I should mention now, every single unit in this deck is Vagan, which will matter for some other cards. And both of our pilots are also Vagan, and they're also X-Rounders, which is going to be relevant for some other cards. So yeah, this one can't attack your enemy directly, but it's a 2/3, great at killing their units. So if you're playing against an aggressive deck and they're attacking your shields, hey, you can pick off their 2/2s with this really, really easily. And you want to do that. You want to basically trade as much as you can, if it makes sense. Next up, we have the Bakuto. Same deal, level 2, 2 cost 2/3, except this one can attack your opponent's face. Same deal. Now we have the Farja. This one's really interesting. It's a level 2, 2 cost 2/2. A little bit worse stats than the Bakuto here. It does have a link with Urine Le Ciel. We are running the Urine card in the deck, so we have her name, Urine. I'm going to call her Urine, not Urine. Le Ciel. We'll call her Miss Le Ciel. Anyway, we are running her in the deck. She's a command pilot card. So we do have some link potential with this, but it's more interesting because it costs 1 less to play in our trash, which can be relevant because we have ways to play this from our trash. Overall, this one is kind of like a middling card, but it does work pretty well with the deck. If you don't have the resources to play your Bakuto, for example, and you want something that can be a little bit more aggressive than the Gaffron that can attack faced, you'll get the Farja from the trash. Yeah, pretty cool effect. We're also running the Zetas M. This is level 3, 2 cost, 3/3, and it links with all of our pilots, X-Rounder. I should mention that Miss Le Ciel, also an X-Rounder. Next up, we have the Zetas R, also links with all of our pilots. Level 4 3 cost 4/3. On attack, you can choose a Vagan card in our trash. Doesn't have to be a unit, so it can also be a pilot or a base. Exile from the game, and if we do, we can choose a Vagan unit and it gets plus 2 AP during the turn. This is a great way to actually get our units to a high enough stat that they make great trades, such as some of these low-cost ones. We can trade into their 4 health stuff, and then we can just get them back, which is really, really solid. So yeah, this is good. Any of these that also can link with all of our pilots are super strong. We're also running the Diverse, level 5/4 cost 2/5, big booty there. On deploy, you can choose an X-Rounder card in our trash and add it to our hand, and if we do, discard a card. So you can basically swap one of the cards in our hand for any of our pilots in the trash. And there's some really good pilots. We have Diesel Galette, which can res a card. We also have Zeart Galette, which shrinks stuff and also fuels our trash synergy. Or we can have this command card as well. We'll talk about all these in due time, but yeah, this is a really solid card. And then finally, we have the LR. Well, we have the rare that is masquerading as an LR, or perhaps the other way around. LR masquerading as a rare. Level 6, 5 cost, 4/5. Links with Zeart Galette. It just has high maneuver. And also, if you pair it with any of our pilots, you can choose 4 Vagan cards from your trash. So they can be any Vagan card. Exile them from the game. If you do, choose an enemy unit that is level 4 or lower and destroy it. Super, super good. We have a ton of hard removal in the deck. We have Zadra, we have the Look of Determination, and Fatal Strike. So any of their stuff that's level 4 or lower, it is in the danger zone. We have 3 or lower with Fatal Strike, 4 or lower with Zadra, and 4 or lower or 2 or lower with Look of Determination. It's really the 5 or higher stuff that we need to worry about. And that's what we can use stuff like the Zetas to get some more favorable trades to pump up some of our stuff to smash in. So yeah, or just go high maneuver and try to win that way with the Zadra. So yeah, those are our units for the deck. For the pilots, we have Diesel Galette, level 4, 1 cost 2/1. When you link, you can choose a Vagan unit card that's level 2 or low in our trash and pay its cost to deploy it. We have a lot of those. We have a lot of those in the deck. We have 12 of them now. So pretty easy to do. Just get the one that makes the most sense in the situation that you are in. If you can pay for it, probably just get the Bacto. If you can only do one and you have the Farja in your trash, hey, that's a decent one too. So yeah, really solid. And then you only get this one linked, but we have a lot of ways to link now. We have the 4 Zetas, we have the 4 other Zetas. So yeah, a decent amount of ways to do this. I'm not including the other one that was in set 2. That was like the 5/3 that you can sack one of your own dudes to shoot something for 2. I tried it and I don't like it. I don't like it. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm underrating it, but man, that 3 health is just so not great for the level 5 cost. We have some 3 healths, here, but waiting that long and having it get killed by like just a little Chungus blocker is a bummer. Something like this can get killed by a little Chungus blocker too, but still, I don't know. This is level 4. The other one's like level 5 or 6. Anyway, we have Zeart Galette. Level 5, 1 cost 2/2. When you pair it, you put the top 2 cards of your deck into your trash. So great for fueling our synergies. Close the ad. And if we placed a Vagan card with this effect, choose an enemy unit and gets minus 2 AP during the turn. Really, really solid. Yeah, and we have once again, all of our units are Vagan, and then we also have most of our cards down here Vagan, all of our pilots, and one of our bases too. So good chance to hit with this. Yeah, so also really good. We're also running Look of Determination, one of my new favorite cards. This is a really sweet removal. Level 2, 2 cost, burst, you activate its action, and its action effect is choose an enemy unit that's level 2 or lower and you destroy it. If there are 10 or more cards in your trash, you destroy a level 4 or lower instead. So we have a lot of ways to get cards into our trash, and also we want to be doing a lot of like efficient trading early on, so it's not that hard to get this up to 10, though we do have ways to like kind of non-bow with it, like with the Zetas here and the Zadra, but sequence your things properly is kind of what I'm saying here. It's a little bit of a non-bow with something like the Zadra, but it's still good enough, I think, playing and synergizes with a lot of the other cards, so I really like a Look of Determination. We also have Distant Reunion and the Urine Liciel. Level 3, 1 cost, command pilot. The pilot side is really good, links with a bunch of our stuff. And then the action side says, choose a friendly unit paired with an X-Rounder pilot. It can't receive battle damage from enemy units with 2 or less AP during the battle. If we are level 7 or higher, it can't receive battle damage from enemy units with 5 or less AP instead. Great action effect, can protect one of our dudes, and also this card doubles as a link unit, potentially. We can also get it back with the Defurse, so yeah, pretty solid. This is a great card, I think. We're also running Fatal Strike. This is a card that I used to be running like 2 of in a lot of my purple decks, and now I am running 4. I think it's so good. Level 4, 2 cost, burst, choose an enemy unit, deal 1 damage to it, or on main, choose an enemy unit that's 3 or lower and destroy it. There's a lot of relevant 3 or lower cards in the game. Everything from Lifrits to Rick Diaz to Zaku 2s and tons and Brick Doms, tons and tons of stuff. So yeah, this is great, especially if our opponent like over commits to something. Maybe they put a pilot on their Lifrith or something. Whew, getting with the Fatal Strike is nasty. And then finally, we have our 2 bases. The Freedom's pretty simple. This is just a base that's when it's destroyed, you put the top 2 cards of your deck into your trash. So pretty solid. When they blow up our Freedom, we get basically 3 cards in our trash itself, plus 2 others, and this just helps us fuel all of our other stuff. We're also running, this is a Vulture Warship, by the way, so not a Vagan card. But our other card is, our other base is a Vagan card, the Downs, or the Downus. Level 5, 2 cost, 0/5. This base is so sweet, but man, it's a level 5 card. Deploy, add one of our shields to our hand, then if it's our turn, we can choose a Vagan unit that's level 4 or lower from our trash, pay its cost to deploy it. We can actually play any of these here, a huge chunk of the deck, right? Getting back a Zetas R or a Zetas M is really, really sweet. So yeah, I like this one a lot. This is one that I might end up bumping up. It costs 5 to, or it's a level 5 card. So it's a little bit tricky, but man, getting a base that also gets you back a unit is really solid. And you can just do wild stuff, right? Like if you have this in your hand plus like a Diesel, right? So you have just this base and just this pilot. In a lot of other decks, this is like almost a dead hand, right? You just have like a base that maybe you'll put like a 3/3 token in play or something like that, or I guess a 2/4 token or a 4/2 token. But this one, you play this, you get back this, right? And then you can link it up with Diesel, who then gets you back another unit. I don't know, like this, just having these 2 in hand get you like 2 units and some gas. Like this is solid. I really like what this deck's doing. So yeah, try it out. It's a super budget friendly deck. So yeah, I say it's worth trying, and it's a great one for new players, because I don't think it's like a deck that's super bad. Is it the best deck in the game? No. Is it a super fun, cool deck? Dude, yeah, it is. Yeah, recommend. Next up, we have the Age Federation deck. So this is finally the Gundam Age deck. I've been fiddling around with blue and green. A lot of people have commented on it in the comment sections, and I've been trying to give it its paces. This is my current version of the deck, but I'm kind of hedging my bets a little bit on some of the cards. I'm not 100% sure on some of the stuff here and some of the numbers on the pilots, but I do really like what's going on here, and I really like some of the effects, like and how they work together. So essentially, this is kind of like 2 semi-separate, semi-synergistic archetypes that mesh really well together, because we have cards that care about green Earth Federation, and then we have cards that care about, well, just regular Earth Federation, but other cards that care about like being blue. So yeah, all of our units in the deck, by the way, every single one of them is Earth Federation. Once again, we're maximizing the synergy. All right, let's go ahead and start talking about the deck. We have a lot of pilots in this one as well. We're running a full 12 pilots. So the first card is Flex, right? I've been hedging my bets between Gun Tank and the Lotto. The Gun Tank is, once again, they're all Earth Federation. So the Gun Tank is a level 2 Earth Federation unit. That's a 1/2, and on deploy, you can blast a rested enemy unit for 1 damage. It's really good. I put this on a ton of decks. It's just tried and true, really efficient, and works really well with the deck. The Lotto also works really well with the deck because it's a level 2, it's a 2/2, cost 2, but it links with all 12 of our pilots. And it's also a blue unit that we can give high maneuver with lane aim. So this is the kind of card that I really like in the Gundam card game, because if you draw this late game, it's not just a dead lame 2/2 if you have lane in your hand and the ability to ability to draw a card. So there's a feasible way that you could, like, play the lotto, play lane aim, play show result. It's like 3 cards. This is kind of magical Christmas land anyway. But like this, it's not unfeasible that you can, chain these together late game to draw some cards and then give this high maneuver and hopefully go for the win. Whereas if you draw this late game, it might just not do anything, right? But it's really good in the early game. So I'm torn between these two. I think the final version of this deck, I'm leaning towards the Lotto more, but I do like the Gun Tank quite a bit. We're also running the Rezo, just a efficient statted dude that's a blue Earth Federation. Yep. We're also running the Gundam Age 1 normal. Hey, this is the Age deck. We're finally running the Gundam Age 1. Level 3, 2 cost, 2/2. Links with Asano family trait, which is 8 of our pilots, or 2 of our different pilots. On deploy, you can discard a green Earth Federation unit card. If we do, we get an EX resource, and then if we are level 7 or higher, we get a draw card. Super, super good, especially if we are that level 7 or higher. Great early game, great late game. Pretty solid in this deck. Pretty bad in any other deck, but in this deck specifically, it's fairly solid, because we also have cards that care about placing EX resources. So this combos really well with something like the G Bouncer, which is one of our big finishers for the deck. We're also running the Gundam Age 1 normal common. This is a level 3, 2 cost, 3/3, good stat lines, and links with the Asano family trait. Once again, also Earth Federation. So green Earth Federation, great for discarding with the Gundam Age. Same with all these other green cards. And then linking with Asano family, we have Asamu and Flit, which is really good. We're also running the Delta Plus in this deck. This is one that I was running in like a white-based team deck a little while ago, but I like it in this deck too. Level 4, 3 cost, 4/3 with repair 1, and then during link it gets an additional 1 HP. So when it's linked, it's basically a level 4, 3 cost, 4/4 with repair, which is pretty solid. But it also links with literally all of our pilots, all 12 of the pilots, because it has an Earth Fed link. So yeah, really good, and also solid for like lane aim and high maneuver and that kind of stuff. We also have the G Bouncer. I mentioned this is one of our big finishers. This is how we give high maneuver to stuff. This is a level 4, 3 cost, 4/3. Links with any Earth Federation trait, with once again, all of our pilots. And then when we place an EX resource, we choose one of our Age system units, and it gets high maneuver during this turn. So that's going to be our Gundam Age 1 deck, or Gundam Age 1 cards. There's a decent number of them in the deck. So it's not just the LRs. So yeah, this is a good way to finish the game. This is kind of how we close out and win. We're also running this Gundam Age 1 flat. It's a 4/3 with Asano family link. So I'm kind of hedging my bets between these ones as well. They're both Asano family traits. This one is a 4. This one's a 4/3. This one's a 3/3. And the only difference is the level, right? This is level 4. This is level 3. This is better at trading into stuff if we need to. This is a little bit smaller and low to the ground. You can tweak the numbers on these, I think, however you see fit. But they both functionally do the same thing. One of them just has a higher level and more attack. One of them just a little bit lower. Yeah. I can see me going lower on the 4s and higher on the 3s. I can see me adding more of this guy and cutting more of this one. And then we're also running the new LR, the Gundam Age 2 normal. Level 5, 4 cost, 4/4. Super unique card. This one links specifically with Asamu Asano. And it says, during pair, enemy units choose this rested unit as their attack target, if possible, when attacking. So this basically has super blocker. The opponent has to attack this thing before anything else. It protects all of our dudes as well as our base. So this one's really solid, and we get that extra EX resource when we link with Asamu. Both of these, getting the extra EX resources, pair really, really nicely with the G Bouncer. Basically, having a G Bouncer and then playing either of these, and like either getting the deploy on this one or playing this one and linking it, can get some nice effects. And then finally, we have the Penelope from the Hathaway starter deck. Level 7, 6 cost, 5/5, Earth Federation, links with lane aim. During pair, on attack, once per turn, if this unit is attacking the enemy player, reveal one Earth Federation unit card from your hand, return to the bottom of your deck. If you do, draw 2 cards. Once again, all of our units are Earth Federation, right? So we can reveal any of the cards, you know, yeet the Lotto or the gun tank or whatever, and then we get a draw 2, which is really, really good. So yeah, solid effect. Drawing 2 is really good. And obviously linking with lane aim and getting high maneuver because we're getting that card draw is also really good. And you know, let's talk about lane aim now. So level 4 1 cost 2/1 pilot. Whenever you would draw with an effect, if it's a blue unit, or if this is a blue unit, it gains high maneuver this turn, which is really, really sweet. So you basically want to have lane aim piloting your blue Earth Federation links. Doesn't have to be a link, I guess, but you know, you can usually you want to link and do everything all in one turn. So that is the Lotto, the Delta Plus, and the Penelope to give them all like high maneuver. Technically, it works with the Rezel as well, if the Rezel can attack, because it's also a blue. And also keep in mind that, you know, something like this one, that's a green Earth Federation link. Technically, you can link it up, but you can't do high maneuver because it's not a blue unit. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, super solid. Another thing to note, this just says when you would draw with an effect, so that triggers off of Penelope, but it also triggers off of something like Show of Resolve, right? So if you have lane aim on your Delta Plus, and then you play Show of Resolve, that'll trigger lane aim's ability to give it high maneuver, because we drew with an effect, which is solid. I should also mention, it will not trigger off of something like Flit Asano, which puts a card into our hand, but that doesn't count as drawing a card, because it doesn't say draw a card, it says put it in your hand. So there's a couple little bit of intricacies with the deck. Just keep that stuff in mind. So we have Flit Asano. This is one that I've also been like, I'm not sure if I want to run the full 4 of Flit. Maybe cut him down to 3 and put another Show Resolve or another one of our units. Yeah, so I don't know. Once again, there's some of the numbers that I'm like, I don't know. Because, well, let's read what Flit does. Level 3 1 cost 1/1 pilot, Earth Federation, Asano family, X rounder. Great. Links with all the things that can link with Asano family and Earth Fed, which is a bunch. When you link it, you look at the top 3 of your deck and you reveal a green Earth Federation unit card or a card with Age Device in its card name, and they put it in our hand, put the remaining cards randomly on the bottom of our deck. So basically what that gets us, so it has to be a green Earth Federation card. So any of our green units, any of the green units essentially. So it's not a ton in the deck. This is what, 4, 8, 12, 16. So there's not a ton of hits on this one, but he does link with so much stuff with the deck. So I think it's still pretty solid, but there's a chance you whiff, but you can also link super easily with him. So there's that as well. We have Asamu Asano. Excellent. Asamu is a big attacker. So level 4 1 cost 2/1, and then during link, if this is an age system unit, it gets additional +1 AP and also breach, which is really solid. Once again, links really well with all of the green stuff. I guess G Bouncer is not age system, but we have these other age system units, so we get the full effect off of Asamu, which is really good. We talked about lane aim. And then finally we have Show of Resolve, just a draw 2. Good way to refill our hand after we've dumped a bunch of stuff early game, and also works well with lane aim's effect. And then finally we have the Devow, which is just a nice little way to heal our units, which is something that is really valuable if you're doing a lot of like trades into stuff, or, you know, it's a good way to help keep the age 2 like, tip top, so your opponent has to keep attacking into it. This is, what I would consider like a flex slot. You can put, you know, any other base that you think would work really well with this one. I am a big fan of the Devow, and you're going to see it in another deck. But yeah, I can see you, you know, swapping this for something else. It's also technically Earth Federation too. But in any case, this is my version of the Age Federation deck. Yeah, like I said, I think there might be some tweaks here. Move, like cut a Flit Asano, maybe add another Show Resolve, or more likely another one of these here. It's a fairly solid deck and has a, you know, kind of a different way of winning. We still can do like high maneuver, and we still have some big units, but it's I don't know, I like it. It's a cool deck. Age is finally like decent. It's like playable. I don't know if this is the best deck, but it's a playable now at least. Next up, we have my CB deck. Now, this one's really interesting because you can build CB in a couple different ways, and I can see people building this with white. and it being like pretty solid. And by white, I mean cutting green entirely and being like purple white and leaning more into the Exia like finishers and cutting out all this green stuff. But I kind of wanted to do like a more upgraded version of the starter deck. So I wanted to lean more into the green purple, and I still think it's pretty solid. This deck is just a really synergistic deck that leverages all of our CB stuff, and then trying to get a nice finish with the suppression and the removal that the Trans Am brings. So yeah, let's talk about it. We are running the Grunt, the Zero Gundam, the O Gundam, level 2, 1 cost 2/2. It's just a CB dude. Yep, that's all it is. For just a little grunt, the art kind of goes pretty hard, which it like looks like a rare or LR for the art. But yeah, it's just a 2/2. We're also running the Gundam Dynamis, level 3, 2 cost 3/3, links with Lockon. This is one of the starter deck cards. Sure, it's pretty solid. Good stats and links with Lockon. As you can see, we have a lot of green units. I feel like this deck is more of like a Lockon Stratos deck than a Setsuna deck. Setsuna helps bring our top end, but most of like the mid and early game, we're going to be wanting to play Lockon. We also have the Gundam Kyrios, level 3, 2 cost 2/3, links with Alleluia. And then during our turn, if we have a CB pilot in play, it gets an additional +2 AP. So if we have another CB pilot, this is essentially, or just any CB pilot, is essentially like a Rezo, you know, level 3, 2 cost 4/3. And it also has a link, like I said, with Alleluia. So we're running 2 copies of him. So, you know, we can actually get links with this pretty well. It's not uncommon to have this down, and then on the next turn you play your Gundam Dynamis and link it with Lockon, and this will get the extra +2 for having a CB pilot. So then you have the 4/3 here, and then you have this massive, what is this, like a 5/6, I think, if I remember right. I think it's a 5/6 if you link it. So you have a 5/6 and a 4/3 on turn 4. Pretty good. Speaking of which, this is the Gundam Dynamis LR from the starter deck. This is also a starter deck card. This is great. This is a deck that's really easy to upgrade from your starter decks. Level 4, 3 cost. Close the ad. 2/4. During our turn, when this unit destroys an enemy unit with battle damage, it heals itself for 2, which is really solid. And then during link, it gets an additional +2. So you can think of this as like a 4/4 base if you have it linked up. Links with Lockon. I should mention Lockon now, since it's really important with this. Lockon is a 1/2 pilot. And it says, if this is a CB unit, it may choose an active enemy unit whose level is equal to or lower than this unit as the attack target during this turn. So basically, the idea is that on turn 4, you jam this out, you get this big nasty unit that can attack anything, and then it heals when it kills something. And then also, once again, you get like maybe the synergy of getting this the extra +2. So yeah, pretty good. We also am running the level 5 Gundam Dynamis 2. This is level 5, 3 cost 4/4 that just has Breach 3. It also links with Lockon. I'm only running 2 in this deck because I'm kind of like trying this out. This is another one that I'm kind of like hedging my bets between this one and the GN armor. I like this one. I mean, the Breach 3 is really solid, and being a 4/4 makes it so they can kill almost anything. Like this one nicely trades into most blocker decks, you know, smash into their Lifrith or their Rick Diaz or whatever. It's really nice. So I do like this one. But like I said, I'm kind of like hedging my bets right now. Next up, we have the LR from the starter deck, or the other LR, the Exia, level 5, 4 cost 4/4, links with Setsuna. At the end of our turn, if there are 7 or more CB cards in our trash, we choose one of our resources and set it as active. And then when paired, we place the top 2 cards of our deck into our trash. If we place a CB card with the effect, draw a card. That's really, really good. All of our units are CB cards. Most of our pilots are CB cards. Our base is a CB card. There's a really good chance we hit from this and we get that card draw, which is just really, really good. I do want to mention that getting the resource back, setting the resource back as active, is really nice for helping us play our Look of Determination on our opponent's turn. So keep that in mind as well. So we do have ways to use that effect in the deck. So this is a really solid, way in the mid game to help get, keep our game plan going. Once again, talking about the GN armor. This one, like I said, I'm a little iffy on this one. It's a high level. So it's a level 6 4 cost 5/4 CB. Also links with any CB, which is great. Links with all of our pilots, and it just has blocker. So Blocker's not really something we're doing a lot in this deck, but it's not too bad with what we're doing, and it links with all of our pilots. So this is one that I've been using and, you know, playing as kind of like a more of a late game style card. It is a blocker, and like I said, I'm like, I'm iffy between these two. The Dynamis is more aggressive, whereas the GN Armor is more defensive, and I'm just kind of leaning a little bit here right now, but I can see you messing around with both of these. And then finally, we have our big finisher, the Gundam Exia Trans Am. Level 7/6 costs 6/4 with suppression. And when this unit destroys an enemy shield area card with battle damage, if there are 10 or more CB cards in our trash, choose an enemy unit with the lowest HP and destroy it. Really strong, especially if our opponent only has big things. I just should mention, I mention this all the time when I talk about this, but we only get one trigger off that second destroy effect off of our suppression. Because the shields are destroyed simultaneously, you only are able to destroy one thing from that second effect. So keep that in mind. So you blow up 2 other shields, destroy 1 other things. It's really solid. And also, doesn't have to be linked or anything like that. Which is one of the reasons why we're actually not running the full 4 of Setsuna. Setsuna is pretty good, but what he does is essentially he pumps our squad. And our dudes are already pretty big, and a lot of the stuff don't really care all that much about having Setsuna specifically. Like this one doesn't care about having a pilot at all, and then our other Exia just needs to be paired with any pilot, doesn't have to be specifically Setsuna. So that's kind of why I've gone with 3 Setsunas, 4 Lockon, and then we have the 2 Alleluia. So let's talk about them. So Alleluia, level 3, 1 cost 1/1 pilot. During our turn, if we have a CB link unit in play, this unit can't receive battle damage from enemy units with 3 or less HP. Really solid at just smashing into their stuff. It counts itself. It just says if we have a CB link unit. So if this is the CB link unit, we get this effect. And for the Alleluia, we can link him up to the Curios, or we can also link him up to the GN Armor, which is pretty solid. One of the, I'd say I don't really call it a weaknesses, but one of the things you need to pay attention to with this deck is a lot of the cards have very specific links, right? So we have the Dynamis, Lock-On, we have, well, all the Dynamis are specifically with Lock-On, and then the Curios is specifically with Alleluia. But we still have the 3 GN Armors. It's one of the reasons why we're running the extra GN Armor, just so this has a couple more targets to hit. Then we have Lockon Stratos. We already kind of talked about him, but he's really solid. Tons and tons of links with the deck. Just a really solid pilot. Having the extra health helps him keep, stay alive. Ideal turn 4 play is to jam out the Dynamis and the Lock-On and smash into their biggest thing. And I think if you can do that, you can kind of get ahead on tempo and start to, take over the game from there. And then, as I mentioned, we have Setsuna. He's a 2/1 pilot, and on attack, it gets an additional 1 AP. And if you have 7 or more CB cards in your trash, all of our CB units get +1 AP instead, which is not bad. All of our units are CB in the deck, so that's pretty solid. We're also running 4 of Tactical Visionary. Excellent little draw card. Main, we look at the top 3 of our deck, and then we can reveal a CB unit or pilot from among them, put it in our hand, and return the remaining randomly on the bottom of our deck. We have a lot of CB units and pilots, so good chance you'll hit on this one. In fact, the only non-CB units and pilots are this card and the next 2. One of which is CB, but it's not a unit or pilot. We have Look at Determination. This is one of my favorite new cards. I've already talked about this before. I'm putting this in all my purple decks, more or less. Level 2, 2 cost, burst, activate its main, and then on action, or activate its action, and then on action, choose an active enemy unit that's level 2 or lower, destroy it. If you have 10 or more cards in your trash, choose an active enemy unit level 4 or lower instead. Yeah, I mean, like, we literally have cards that put stuff in our trash, so this synergizes with the deck. Play this super early, kill their early thing. Play this later, kill their bigger thing. Solid. And then finally, we have the Ptolemos as our base. Level 2, 1 cost, 0/5. While a rested friendly CB unit is in play, this base can't receive damage from enemy units that are level 3 or lower, other than unit tokens, which is weird and interesting, but essentially this protects us in the early game from a lot of early aggression. So what we want to do is, with the Ptolemos in play, we want to use our dudes as much as we can, and so that they themselves are rested, and so our forces our opponents to attack into our dudes instead of attacking into our base. So this is great. This is actually one of the best cards in the deck, in my opinion, and helps us not die to all of the aggressive stuff. And then against like blocker decks, we have some pretty efficient stuff against blockers like the Dynamis, well, multiple versions of the Dynamis. So yeah, I think it's a really solid deck. I'm not 100% on it. Like I said, I've seen some people play more of like with like a white package. But I think this is a good place to start for this archetype right now at the start of the season. So I'm looking forward to see where this particular color combination goes in the future. All right, next up, we have a really cool deck. Now, I'll be honest with this one. This one I did not brew myself. I actually saw this deck posted on Japanese social media. So I actually got this one from a Japanese Twitter account. So this is essentially Cyclops Tokens is what I'm calling it. This is Cyclops team, but we have a lot of like token synergy. And that means we are using the new UNE cards from set 2 to generate tokens. And then we're going to use stuff like Hardy Steiner to get, effects from the tokens, as well as pumping them up with stuff like Citizens Take a Stand and Levasalius. It's a weird deck. It works sometimes extremely well, and you just run over your opponent, and other times you run out of gas and just die. So it's a super high roll deck. It's super unique, and I think it's worth talking about. So we have, as you can see here, we actually have a ton of pilots. It only says 7, but that's because a lot of the pilots double as commands. So a bunch of command pilots. So yeah, cool stuff here. So first up, we have the Doctress. Level 1 cost, new UNE, you activate its main, it has support 1. This is pretty good because we want some cards with new UNE, because some cards will care about having new UNE in play, and also because it has support 1, so we can actually give that +1 to some of our tokens so they can actually attack into stuff. So pretty simple card here. Also just a level 1 card. Good drop on the first turn. We're also running let's talk about the new UNE stuff first. Then we'll talk about the Cyclops team stuff. I think separating them is important here. So we're also running this Doctress command. It's a level 2 cost 3/1, and when it's destroyed, if we have another new UNE unit in play, we get a rested 0/1 token. Cool. So it's a dude, 3/1, makes a token. Trades pretty well, makes a token. We're also running the Doctress weapon. We're only running 2 of these ones, by the way. The Doctress weapon. I like this one a lot more because it's on deploy. Level 2 cost 2/1 on deploy. If we have another new UNE unit in play, we get, well, you guessed it, a 0/1 token. Arrested 0/1 token. So these are ways to get more tokens if we have other new UNE units in play, like the Doctress. We're also running the Doctress Flyer, level 3 cost 2/3 on deploy. Deploy arrested 0/1 unit. So once again, all of our new UNE stuff just poop out little 0/1 units that we can then pump up with stuff like Citizens Take a Stand, or the Vesalius, or the Doctress, or rather our support Doctress. These are all Doctresses. So yeah, that's the new UNE side. They pump out tokens. All right, let's talk about the Cyclops side. Also pumping out tokens. So this is the level 2 cost Zaku 2 FZ. It's a Zeon Cyclops team, links with Bernard Wiseman. It's a 1/2. When you pair it, if there are 4 or more Cyclops team cards in your trash, you deploy 2 rested Add Balloon tokens, which are 0/1 tokens, that can't be set as active or paired with a pilot. So they just sit there. They're just tokens that are 0/1s that stay rested, and they just sit there. While you have a unit with Add Balloon in its card name in play, this unit can't receive enemy battle damage. It's hiding behind the balloons, right? If you've seen War in the Pocket, it's really cool. Also, go watch War in the Pocket. War in the Pocket's great. So yeah, this is the little unassuming 1/2. But your opponent really has to deal with your Add Balloons first, which I think is really, really funny. Especially if you pump this up with your Bernard Wiseman and make it huge, because we can make this thing huge. And basically what you want to do with this is you want to attack into their base with this as much as you can. Yeah, so funny, solid, and it poops out two tokens. This is a deck that you really need to pay attention to the number of units you have, and make sure you don't like cap out on units or over cap out on units. Next up, we have the Hygog, level 3 cost 3/2. Zeon Cyclops team, links with Cyclops team. we have a ton of Cyclops team pilots. So this one has a pretty easy link. And then when you link it, if you have another Cyclops team unit in play, we get another 2-1 token. We get another 2-1 Hygog token. So this is a 3-2 that makes a 2-1, which is really, really solid. Next up, we have, well, just a Cyclops team card. Level 3, 2 cost 3/3. Zeon Cyclops team. It is linking with Cyclops team, which is all of our shenanigans down here, which is excellent. And also, this Hygog cares about having Cyclops team. Yeah, it's pretty solid. And then finally for the units, we have the Comfer. Level 4, 3 cost 4/3. Links with Mikhail. This is Zeon Cyclops team. This one has a burst, which is really interesting. Burst, choose a Cyclops team pilot from our trash and we add it to our hand. So this is one of the few units with burst on it. And then we pair this with a Cyclops team pilot. All of our Cyclops team units may choose an active enemy unit with 5 or less AP as our attack target this turn. So it kind of like makes it so the squad can like attack into our enemy stuff. Pretty solid. Running 3 copies of the Comfer. So essentially, we want to poop out a whole bunch of tokens and then be really aggressive and attack our opponent like as fast as possible. As you see, we top out on level 4. Most of the cards in our deck are level 3 or level 2, and we just want to drop these, just drop them, hand over fist. So let's talk about our pilots. So first up, we have Bernard Wiseman, level 2, 1 cost. Having a level 2 pilot is kind of wild, because you can drop, like on turn 3, you can drop the Zaku 2 and Bernard, like, in the same turn, which is kind of wild. So he's a 0-1 Zeon Cyclops team. We increase this unit's AP by an amount equal to the number of Cyclops team pilots or command cards with unique names in our trash. And so that is all 4 of these. So if we have all 4 of these in our trash, this will get +4, which is really solid. So making this a 5-2 that just hides behind balloons is really is great. Next up, we have Mikhail, level 4, 1 cost 2-1 Zeon Cyclops team. On attack, choose one of our Cyclops team's units. It gains breach 1 during the turn. Excellent. Yeah, just give our Cyclops dudes breach. It's good. And synergizes with the deck. Running 3 of him. Now we have our 2 command pilots. These are both really good. We have Gabriel Ramirez Garcia, level 3, 1 cost. The effect side is how many miles to the battlefield. I love his like poster that he's got in the background. Gabriel's a real one there. So anyway, the main effect is we deploy a Hygog. So we deploy a 2-1 Cyclops team token. It's just deploy 1 token. It's not rested, which is great. Most of the time when things make tokens, they're rested. This one's not. And so this is just a way to get a 2-1. It's a level 3, but we get a 2-1. Or we can link it with something that cares about Cyclops team, which is pretty solid, right? And then finally for the command pilots, we have Over the River and Through the Woods or Hardy Steiner. This card is really interesting. So it's a level 4 1 cost. Hardy gives +1/+1, but most of the time you want to use its command effect, which says choose one enemy unit that's level 5 or lower, deal damage to it equal to the number of friendly unit tokens in play. So you might have been thinking up to this point, how do we get over all the blockers? Well, we poop out a bunch of tokens and then we blow them up with Over the River and Through the Woods, backed up by like breach effects and all that kind of stuff. And so if the things line up right, we can just aggro our opponent out and get there. And sometimes, well, we might guess out. The last 2 cards are Team Pumpers. So Citizens Take a Stand is a level 4 1 cost command. Burst, you add it to your hand. And then on the main activate is all of our units get +2 AP during the turn, which is super, super good if we have a bunch of these like 0-1 tokens. So giving them +2 means that they can attack, trade into stuff, do damage, all that kind of good stuff. And then finally, we have the Vesalius, we've already talked about in this video, but if you just skipped here, it's a level 3 1 cost 0-5, and then we can rest it and give any of our units +1 AP during the turn, which is really good for, once again, all of the 0-1 tokens or getting to nice breakpoints or anything like that. So yeah, that's the Cyclops token deck. This is a crazy deck. It's currently only $19 to make because it's just a bunch of weird token generator cards. It's cool though. I like this deck. If I see people win with this deck, I'm like, yeah, dude, that's sick. If someone wins like locals with this, like you're like you're like the champion for the month or something. I don't know. This one's really cool. And then finally for today, we had a lot of decks. This is my updated version of my Gundam Epyon aerial deck. Now, I'm not going to go super deep into this one. I'm not going to go like card by card because we already have a full video talking about this deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about generally how it works and then talk about the cards that we have swapped and the changes that we've made. You will see we've only actually added 2 new cards, and we've essentially changed some numbers on some stuff. So this deck is a hard control deck. We run an absolute ton of blockers in the deck. We try to get, we block it up early, and then we try to efficiently trade, mid game, and then we close out the game with powerful effects like the Gundam aerial rebuild and the Epyon. And we also have a lot of recursion, so we don't gas out with the aerial rebuild LR that can get commands back. We have a whole bunch of powerful commands. A lot of them draw cards or make units. We also get a lot of card advantage from Zex Marquise and some resource advantage from Soletta Mercury. It all kind of just gels really, really well and plays. It's just super, super fun to play. But it does put your opponent squarely into blocker hell. We're running a lot of blockers in the deck. We're running Striker Pack as well. Yeah. And we're also running Unforeseen Incident, another really, really good one with all of our blockers. Great ways, to get stuff back with the Gundam Aerial. I should also mention the Dramatic Turnabout, which I think is really sweet in this deck. We can still get it back with Aerial. It's a nice heal effect, and one of the big downsides of Epyon is that it kind of dies before you can get multiple attacks in. Like, you can attack twice with the Epyon if you link it up, but sometimes you can't really attack multiple times and get all that card draw, because you get the card draw when it's linked with Zex and it destroys the enemy unit. So the idea is late game, the Epyon can just start blowing up their board and giving us so much overwhelming card advantage that we can just win through our other means. So this one, healing the Epyon and drawing a card, is really good. And to that extent, we've added in 4 copies of the Devour. And I took out the Archangel, which makes this a little bit less aggressive early on, because the Archangel basically allows you to attack with a blocker and then set it as active. I like the Devour here just because it helps heal our blockers, and more importantly, also helps heal our Epyon. So we can do a thing where we attack with the Epyon, use the Devour, because it's an activate main once per turn for 2, choose a unit and heal it for 2. So we can attack into something, heal our Epyon, attack into another thing, draw cards, and then hopefully it survives, and then force our opponent to do some stuff. And put them in a tough situation because we're going to have a lot of blockers. And so backed up with the Dramatic Turnabout, just a lot of extra healing. I've also added in another Striker Pack just because Striker Pack's really good, and it just gives us more blockers. I have bumped up Zawart to 4 copies of. I was running the what is it called? It's the 3/3. It's the level 2 cost 3/3 that can't attack the opposing player. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I really liked it. It was really good for like trading into the board. But with the inclusion of the Gustav Karl, I have cut the old card Taurus. I've cut the Taurus and then added in the Gustav Karl, because Gustav Karl is a level 3/3 cost 3/4 that if our opponent has a bunch of dudes, or 3 or more, it gains blocker. So it's another blocker, and in the right circumstances can be more efficient than the Rick Diaz, which is a 3/4, which is a 3/3. This is a 3/4, which means that this one can actually trade into the opponent Rick Diaz and also live. I like this one a lot. So I've kind of gone to 3 Lifrith, 3 Rick Diaz, and 3 Gustav Karl, and then 4 Zawart because we went back on level 3s or on level 2s. So we needed more early drops with the level 2s, and so I adjusted accordingly. So yeah, those are the changes. I still like the tall geese in the deck here. Nice little way to, pick off early stuff, and also gives us more links with Zex Marquise. Still really like the aerial rebuild here, giving, having high maneuver as a good finisher, but also doubling as a blocker if we need it. Yeah, this remains one of my favorite decks, and this is like my all-in block. This is my all-in blocker deck. I do have a red-white deck that runs a lot of blockers too, but yeah, this is if you're waiting for the blocker hell deck from all of these other decks that don't run any blockers for the most part, you know, aside from like 1 or 2 here and there, here's all the blockers. So yeah, that is my update to the Gundam Epyon aerial control deck. Whew, all right, that was a really long one. We went deep into all 8 of those decks. I have even more decks on the horizon and my booster boxes for set 3 on the way. So probably we might do another compilation video like this, or I might just do full actual deck techs for all the other ones that I have planned. Though I might do a compilation one of like updated decks, because I have updated like my Gundam X Reanimator deck, for example. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where I go with this. But I'm excited to start playing with the real physical cards for set 3 to just make more decks and all that kind of stuff. Let me know what you think of these decks in the comment section down below. Let me know what decks you are building for set 3. And I don't know, if you watched this far, maybe hype the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. And see you next time.